You a big poop? Or you just a big poop? I love you, poop. You're a good poop. Oh, yeah. You can't escape my love, Sam. It's eternal and very powerful. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. I'll let you go. Hello. Hello. So when I was a kid, there's a big dog nearby. Sam, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Good boy. You're better than that. When I was a kid, I had this old tape, and it was like a collection of older cartoons from like the 40s or sometime. And I think it was Disney videos, like old Disney, where everybody's like, you know that style where like everybody's kind of vibing, like, or just kind of, everybody's kind of bouncing around while standing still. I don't know. I'm sure I didn't capture that right for you. Anyway, there was one in particular that was kind of freaky. Imagine that, an old cartoon, kind of freaky. So, and I just found it again. It was in my recommended thing on YouTube, and it's so there's this whole town that's just made of balloon people, and it's called Balloony Land. So Balloony Land, just balloon people, balloon buildings, balloon people, everybody. And then there's this I forget what he is, but he's like some kind of monster. And he stomps around going, "I'm the pincushion man, terror of Balloony Land." And he just pops everybody. He pops children, he pops people, he pops little dogs. And he just goes around, I am the pincushion man, terror of Balloony Land. And he just goes around saying that. And it was especially freaky because, as a kid, like, and you see other kids die, I don't know, man, it has something, it does something to me. And seeing it now again kind of like resurfaced a lot of memories. Remember another fucked up cartoon that's newer than that but still old is The Brave Little Toaster. I don't know if anyone's seen that. My dude, that is some nightmare fuel if I'd ever goddamn seen it. I hope to watch it again soon because there's some fucked shit. There's some fucked imagery. I heard someone say the same thing about Brave Little Toaster, and they described it as Toy Story for parents who hate their children. Sammy's back there. He's just being a dog. Sammy being a dog. Sam, are you being a dog? What do you got in your mouth? What do you got? So, Sammy is the pincushion man, Terror of Balloony Land. So yeah. Just watched that, or I just watched that first cartoon. So where was I with the girlfriend saga? I had just finished with, I had just completed 3. Yeah, so I went through 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back to 3, and now we're about to go meet up with 4 again. So number 4, yep, girlfriend number 4. We're dating her for the second time. This time around was much of the same thing. So just to recap, for the first time, she was a very outgoing personality. She had a lot of troubles. She's kind of a emo scene girl, and she had, I think I said she was institutionalized in my last video. She was institutionalized in 2011. Yeah, at this point. So forget what I said. All the rest of it was true. I got mixed up. She was institutionalized at this point. And so we met up and we got to know each other, or we got to, reacquainted with each other. Asked how we've, my dog's eating grass. He's a fucking retard. And we kind of say like, have you been? Have you, been good? How have you been? And things kind of fall back. We start dating again within a week, and we're already kind of back in the same routine of like me coming to save her whenever she needs, which is fine. She has problems. Her needing lots of attention and her giving me lots of attention. She was just full of attention, but she was also an attention black hole. So that translates to I have to be around her at all times. And it was just more of like crazy stuff, like well, not too crazy, just kind of like hanging out at parks late at night. I think the first thing of real note that happens in round 2 of dating number 4 was I lost my virginity. I was 21. We can talk about that if you want. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. Love you, Mom. So I always got to keep an eye on him. He's a giant 2-year-old. Okay. Virginity story. It was another one of those nights where she called me. Number 4 calls me and says, I really need you. I'm not doing good tonight. I forget what it was exactly, but it was, she was really torn up about something. I forget exactly what it was. I come and get her. I thought there was a dead bird next to me. Wow, that's just a leaf. And I go and get her, and she gets in the car, and we just kind of drive around. And I don't know if anybody watching knows Anchorage. I ended up downtown, and I ended up parking kind of like at the train station downtown, like right in front of it. At this point in time, I had a red Ford Explorer, and it was it was red 1999 Ford Explorer. And it's really awkward to talk about. And you know, she's crying next to me, and I pulled over finally, and we kind of had a talk for a while. We talked for a while, and made sure she was okay, and I was planning on taking her home. I promise, Mom. And instead we fucked in the back of the car. Let me tell a little aside for a second. Like I said with number 3, girlfriend number 3, I was really nervous. With girlfriend number 3, I was 18 through 20. Or excuse me, 18, I don't know, it split into 2 parts. I was 18, 19, and then 21. And, you know, I was, or I guess I wasn't 21. This happened right after my birthday. I had just turned 21. It was like January 20th that I lost my virginity. And but I had been so nervous with her, and then that carried on to I was so nervous with number 4. And I think I mentioned in my last video, I don't throw this word, I don't like to use like words like slutty or whatever, because I honestly don't think I wouldn't label her quite that. But she had a high drive, let's just say. And she'd been trying to get with me for a long time. At this point, we had been together for 1 year, for 1.5 years before, and then we had just gotten back together, and we had been together for about 4 months at this point. So almost 2 years through. What would the math be on that? Like 1.5 years, and then 4 months, and then whatever in between. She'd been trying to get with me for that long. Over 2 years. Almost 3. Because we had known each other since I was We had known each other since I was about 19. And here I am, 21, finally getting with, we're finally together, doing stuff in the back of my car. And I just realized something else. I'll get to it. So, fuck me. Where was I? Yeah, we were making out, and then we moved things to the back of the car. I've never had sex in public since then. Now, whenever someone's telling you their virginity story, typically people lose their virginity story in like a very mundane way, like a very like anticlimactic almost. Like, I don't mean in that way. I mean in like For example, like if I heard my own story, like, oh yeah, we fucked in my car and in front of a train station downtown. People were walking around and we were trying to like peek to see like, is anyone there? I would have said like, bullshit. You're didn't happen. But my first time's my only time in public. I don't know if you'd count that in public. I was in a parking lot. I was in an empty parking lot, mostly empty. There's still people like walking around, and and she was just as amazed as I was that I actually went through with it. She's like, "Wow, you did it," and I was like, "Yeah, I did it. I did a thing." So I don't know. I think she became more closer, even closer to me after that. I don't really, I don't know. I'm weird. I don't really need sex to like be close to somebody. Some people do. I think she had a history where it's like that's how she builds her relationships, is like sex equals love to her. And I think she said something to me. She said something to me like mere days afterward. And she said like, I was thinking that thank you for making me wait for it, Kurt, because it meant more. Like I was like, yeah, I wasn't trying to make you wait. I was just I don't know. I was just kind of like, it was just whenever I decided I was ready, I guess. And what I was laughing about earlier was the very next day I take my brother somewhere, my youngest brother. I take him somewhere in that car. Oh, that's so gross. Okay, so he goes, he rolls down a window and he goes, "What smells like Taco Bell? It smells like Taco Bell in here." I had Taco Bell earlier. That's what I said to him. I was like, I don't know. Somebody had somebody had Taco Bell in here. Sammy, I love you. You're a good pupper. You're a good puppy. Who's that dog? Spank. Good boy, Sam. Anyway, enough of that grossness. After that, like I said, I think she kind of like opened up even more to me. And the cars that live here, or the people that live here, own really noisy cars. It's true. And sun's finally going down. We got closer. She had a really big suicide attempt. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. She's struggled with it my entire, the whole time I'd known her, and I went and then she was admitted into API. where I would go to see her, and I went and saw her most days whenever I could. And she met some pretty interesting. She would tell me, she couldn't text me, she couldn't have a phone, but like whenever I'd see her, she'd be like, I'm meeting some interesting people here. There's one guy that thinks he's a dragon. I'm like, oh, why don't you say hi? Say hi. It's like, say, what's your dragon name? And he'll say, I am Gorgamith, you know, or something. And I forget how we break up at this point. I honestly forget. I think it was an argument of some sort. It was something that built up slowly. It was, and I remember I waited until I forget what it was, but it was something that was like building between the two of us. That was like a tension that was building between the two of us of some sort, and I wanted to wait until she got out of, she got out of where she was at, out of API first. Before, I made any like decision to leave or talk to her about this. I don't think I don't think dumping her was on my mind, honestly, actually. But I wanted to talk to her when she wasn't, in there. That'd be kind of weird. And I forget what it was. I think she wanted to move in. I don't know. I feel so bad. If I remember, I'll come back to this. But ultimately, she gets discharged, and a couple months later, we kind of go our separate ways. I don't think anybody dumped anybody. I made such a big deal about like having sex, and then like, oh, and then we just dumped each other, and then like, oh, we just left. We just left things on the floor. And I guess we're on to number 5. Number 5. I met number 5. So at this point, I've been dating. So we're at 2012 right now. I've been dating from 2001 to 2011. So 10 straight years, nonstop. Back to back to back to back to back. Maybe with like some weeks, maybe with like a couple weeks to buffer each one. But I took about a 6-month break in 2012. Yeah, it was like mid 2012 when me and 4 broke up. And then at kind of the spring of 2013, or no, because 2013 is when I moved to Wasilla. Excuse me. Yeah, sometime 2012, mid 2012. There was a 6 month period. I remember that I just did not date, and whenever that was, I don't. Mid 2012, I met number five. I met her online, and I kind of think she was another rebound relationship. Hey Chuck, what are you doing, Chuck? Chuck, you big kitty. Um, she was nice at first. She was sort of a hippie, like kind of dressed like a hippie, proclaimed to, live like one. But I quickly found out she was like really angry all the time. She was really snippy. This is the first time in my dating career that I stayed with somebody that I should not have. But I think I just wanted to see how much I could take. So, but she was good. She was into like stone therapy, or what's it called, where you like there's like the hippie stones, and you just like meditate with them, and you just kind of like hold them, and I don't know. I don't know that stupid shit. So, but for somebody who did that, she was really on edge all the time. Oh my fucking god. Okay, cool. Good talk. Fuckface. So, number five. I forget where we're at. Oh, the angry hippie. So, about a month into knowing her, she moved to a new apartment, or excuse me, she moved all her stuff to her brother's house. Her brother lived somewhere else, but he had this other house, I guess, and it was across town, and it was like a 30-minute drive each way. And I found myself in the middle of helping her move all her stuff out of her apartment and move it into this new place. She didn't have too much stuff, but it was like a bed, a bunch of paintings everywhere, and hippie shit. It's like a bunch of little like jewelry and dolls and I don't know, kind of stupid horse shit every fucking where, and I spent like 5 tanks of gas on this. So, I don't know. Another thing about me, real quick, is I get sucked into these situations. I not so much anymore. I get sucked into these situations, and what's that show? I don't know if you've ever seen. I think Bob's Burgers. There's the oldest daughter who makes that. She does that, and that is my I saw that show and I was like, that's me. Like, for real, like that's me, and that's how I get sometimes. Kirk, can you help me move my fucking entire apartment into this 2-story mansion-looking house? here, here I am. Like, the fuck am I gonna say? No. I should have said no. She misconstrued my, yeah, misconstrued my words. Is it misconstrue or misconstrue? Misconstrue. I can speak. I'm tired, okay? Fuck off. She misconstrued my words a lot. I would say something and she would take it like some of the worst. Like this didn't happen, but this is an example. You could compliment her pants and she would take it as an insult to her shirt. You know, like I didn't know what to say to her half the time. I don't know why I stayed with her looking back. Everyone's got that one person that they're like, I don't know why I stayed with him. You know, but like, she literally is. I learned nothing from that. You know, like I have another relationship coming up that was probably worse in magnitude than this one, than 5. But I don't regret that one. I regret this one now. I didn't walk away with anything. You know, I didn't, you know, I hope to have at least like a lesson learned. With number 1, it was don't ghost people, which, you know, I'm great at that. You know, I'm great at not doing that. Hello, everybody I haven't spoken to in fucking forever. Ranging from weeks to years. Hello. Yeah, number 1 basically was like, don't lead people on. Don't ghost. Number 2. Number 2 was just kind of like, I don't even know if number 2 had any lessons to it actually. It was a good relationship. I guess that's all. That's the least I can ask. Number 3, it taught me a lot of adult themes, like just like just being an adult, you know, just like jobs, apartments. I had a job at that point, but I was not really like a serious, you know, thinking. I wasn't really forward thinking like her, but she taught me a lot of that. And number 4 kind of taught me. Number 4, I actually date number 4 again later. We haven't seen the last of 4. Ooh. But so far she's taught me things like how to deal with people at their worst, how to relationships can still be fun even when you're dealing with somebody at their worst, like that you can still make the best. I don't know where I'm fucking going with that. Lessons. This one, number 5, I didn't learn a fucking thing other than never to trust my own judgment again. One time I bought her tampons and chocolate because I was at the store and she texted me and said, like, if you're out, can you bring me these things? Which I did. I got there. We had just moved her into her brother's place. And we get there. And I come into the room. And she's just raging. I don't know what the fuck. I still did. I had to like ask, like, what's you okay? I got you your thing. And I was like reaching my back. I got you your thing. And then I have to dodge, like, she throws a thing of pudding at me. And it just zooms right past me and almost hits me dead on in the in the face. And there's just a chocolate pudding just stuck to the wall. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you gonna clean that up? Like, what was that? Well, I'm gonna go then. I'm just gonna leave this bag here. You do what you gotta do. You know, I don't fucking know. There was I made little notes of like little things that had happened. Um, oh, this is a good one. So, number 5 saw me on Facebook, and she saw my mother. My mother wrote, she wrote, "I love you," and I wrote, "I love you too." And me and my mom do not have the same last name. We do not have the same last name, so we look like we're. So from her point of view, she thought that she was some other girl. My mom also looks. My mom also looks like 5 or 10 years younger than she is. She just kind of always has. She's always looked a little younger than. And at the time she was like 40, and she looked like 35 or something. And next time I see her, I come over, and she goes, "Oh my fucking God." She goes, I forget how she starts it, but she starts it slow, and then it just starts going, and the ball's rolling, and it starts. Yeah, I remember it started off like, "Who's Jill?" Or who's so and so? My mom. Who's that? And like before I can answer, this whole time she's just like cutting me off, like, "I don't want to hear it." And then she just goes on like, goes off like, and I'm just sitting here like, can I get a word in? She's like, "No, it's this, and by the way, and I'm just like, and in my head I'm like, wait a minute, I'm just gonna let her go. I'm just gonna let her do this. Maybe she'll learn something when I kind of like blow her mind here in about 20 minutes when she lets me talk." So, my big moment, it's coming up. It's coming up, boys. And she's just like walking, she's just pacing back and forth and just like, and she finally closes. "So what do you have to say for yourself?" She said, "What do you have to say for yourself?" And I'm just like, that's my mom. And she goes, "Oh, well, I gotta take the dogs out. They gotta shit." I'm just like, wait, what was that then? How about "I'm sorry"? How about "I was wrong"? How about "I'm sorry you had to see me like that"? How about "I'm sorry I lashed out at you irrationally"? How about "I'm sorry I didn't let you take a turn during our discussion"? How about fucking "I'm sorry I'm retarded"? So I never really got my big, "I was wrong, I'm sorry." I would have been willing to like hug it out. Fuck my life, dude. So this video is coming to a close. Oh wait, no. I can still do this one. Yeah, still do this one. And what was I gonna say? Oh, she had a rivalry with girlfriend number 4. Because at this time, towards the end of me and Five's relationship, she cheated with a guy who was the husband of number 4. When I left number 4, she immediately turned and got married. So I left number 4, she got married. I found number 5. She's a cunt. And then she's also a cheating cunt. Cheating cunt, cheating on my ex's husband. My ex's new husband. They hadn't even been together like a year. And this guy's already cheating on my ex. And Sam's eating grass again. So number 5, how she found this guy was number 5 worked at the same grocery store as number 4's husband. So my ex and my current girlfriend were sleeping with the same guy. Yeah, I left. I was like, that's fucking weird. And they knew each other. My exes now. 4 and 5 knew each other because they were, rivaling over the same guy. And they, I think they shared a car. So she'd drop him off at his work, and then she also worked there too, and 5 would see 4 with I don't fucking know. They knew each other somehow because the husband and 5 worked together, and they'd fuck at work, on break. Number 5 admitted this to me. So, that's number 5 for you. So it's 2013 at this point. I dated that girl, number 5, for about 6 to 8 months. My relationships are getting shorter, by the way. So we went from 6 years to 2 years. Yes. 6 years to 2 years to 1 year and then 1 year and then another 1 year and 1 year, split up. And now we're at, not even a year. So I'm getting progressively worse at this. And I moved to Wasilla. And Wasilla was great to me. Everyone welcomed me with open arms. Made a lot of friends instantly. And I met a girl pretty much instantly too. And we met online and met up at an Italian restaurant. And she was really funny. She made me laugh, which is, a plus. And then she laughed at pretty much everything I said, I told her, actually, I remember telling her, you don't have to laugh at everything I say. I'm not that funny. I don't think I'm that funny. And, so Yeah, so I met number 6, went on our first date, and then after our first date, as done, we're done with dinner, we're getting ready to go. I'm thinking like maybe, I think this is it for the night. You know, I don't expect a whole lot to happen on a first date. I'm not really like one that expects like a ton to happen. I don't even really expect kisses. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes I've kissed on the first date. Sometimes I don't expect it to happen though. You know, I'm not one of those guys that puts pressure on a girl like I expect something in return. You know, like I'm not a shitlord like that. I don't expect things. But she said, "Do you want to go back to my place and we can watch a movie?" Now, I know what that could mean. I know fuck well what that could mean. That could watch a movie. I've heard, you know, Netflix and chill hadn't come out yet. It was like 2013. So the term Netflix and chill hadn't really come out yet, but I knew what it fucking meant. And, you know, watch a movie means anything. You know, Netflix and chill didn't really exist, but it kind of did exist in spirit for decades. You know, when you take your date out to see like a drive-in movie, what that actually meant was, I'm going to put my arm around you and maybe get some action. That Netflix and chill has existed since movies. So, her house, I follow her to her house in her car. We're in separate cars. And we go to her house. And she's out a little ways away. I'm new to Wasilla. I'm not really familiar with this. I'm driving in the dark. I'm just kind of following her. And we get to her house. We pull into her driveway. And then we get to her front door. And she turns around. I've told this. I just recently told this part of the story to a friend, and he loves this part. So, this girl, number 6. She turns around and she says, like she's about to unlock the door. She turns around and says, really quick, I gotta tell you something. You see, oh my God. She says, I have a pie in the fridge. I'm like, oh, a pie? Like a food pie? Huh. Neato. She goes, well, I want to go inside and I want you to put your foot in the pie. And I want to suck it off your toes. She says, I have a pie in the fridge. And I want you to put your foot in it. I'm going to suck it off your feet. Okay? Good. I had another one of those moments. You know, but I wasn't gonna like tease her about it and be like, wait, you're into that? You know, I didn't want to be like that. I could tell that like it took a lot out of her to kind of like come out and say that, especially to just a stranger. Or maybe telling it to a stranger is easier. I don't know. Maybe that's why she did it. But it was obviously something she was into, like sexually, and she was brave enough to tell it to me. And I was like, you know, a part of me wanted to just, you know, part of me wanted to just, part of me just wanted to bust my shit and just laugh. And then I quickly realized, no, she was really sweet to me tonight. I didn't end up doing this. That's not what I'm getting at. We went inside and I hadn't said no yet, but we went inside. She took the pie out, and we just looked at it on the counter. I was like, "That's a pie. That is in fact a pie." It was like a banana cream, like some kind of banana coconut, banana, I don't know, some kind of something or another. And what ended up happening was she just ended up eating a slice of it. And then we watched a movie. And then I went home. That night could have been really weird. But for once in my life, I said no. I forget how I said it, but I kind of set her down gently with it. I was just like, I wasn't like teasing her about it, but I never brought it up to her again. She never brought it up to me again, ever. Which makes me wonder if, like, when we would sleep together, if maybe she wasn't like having as much of a thrill as she could have because she's into feet. I don't know. That's not all there is to number 6. There's a bit more. So again, she was really sweet. Fun, sweet, into feet. So, she's also very religious, I found out. And after a while, I forget how it came up, but I wanted to meet her parents, like, and meet her family. I was like, oh, I'd love to meet them. And she's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And I find out a few months in that she's actively been trying to hide me from her parents. Which kind of felt miserable. I love meeting families. As much as I don't like to meet people, when I'm with a girl, I'm very family oriented, and I like to kind of meet like their friend group, and I want to be spoken of in a good light. I want to be like, I want everybody to know that, like, she's safe around me. I want mom and dad to know that, like, I'm not a shitbag. I want brother and sister to know that, like, and friends and family and everybody. I want to get along with their dog. I want to get along. She didn't let me in. She said, you do things that my parents wouldn't approve of. Bitch, you're a sexual deviant. You're into feet. And there's a bee right there. Fuck. Where'd it go? I hear it. I don't see it. Is it dead? But yeah, like, you're a sexual deviant. You're doing things your parents wouldn't allow. Who the fuck cares, too, about what your parents think? You're 24. I'm 24. Or I'm 23, or she's 23 or something. We're in our early 20s. Do we really need mom and dad overseeing everything? I just want to meet them. I just want to say hi. I just want them to know my name and know that, like, I don't know. It's just something I like to, I don't know. So she said that things that I did were pagan and unholy. Pagan and unholy. That's a new one. So, ranging from some of the music I listened to, I named it in, I think, the video before last. Listen to a lot of, I don't know, just listen to a lot of, like, she's probably right, like, no Christian mother and father. I've never really considered myself, like, to be like a metalhead, but I a section of my music catalog did contain, like, you know, some heavier stuff and some darker stuff, and but that really wasn't like all that I was into. I'm into some softer stuff too. You know, I actually now more days listen to softer stuff because I listen to music when I go to sleep, and you said your music has a lot of pagan imagery, has a lot of symbolism, has a lot of I don't know, whatever fucking, I don't know. So, and oh, and I was in I've been big into Magic the Gathering for most of my life, and it's a game that people most relate to Dungeons and Dragons, even though it has really nothing to do with Dungeons and Dragons. It's still like it's still kind of a fantasy card game, and oh, again, a lot of pagan imagery, a lot of symbols and numbers I don't like, and phrases and I don't fucking know. Can I just go off on a tangent real quick? So, how do I begin this? Magic the Gathering is not role playing. Luckily, I have not been exposed to many like satanic panic people. I know that was a big thing in the 80s and 90s, a little bit in the 70s, a little bit in the 2000s. A little bit that I witnessed was when Harry Potter was big. There's a lot of book burning from that, and it was like, I remember Pokemon got some backlash. But like, I haven't been really exposed to this many people, but I have some family members. I was with my grandma, and she was in town, and this is a quick aside, I'll be right back to the story. I was with my grandma, and my uncle, who's a priest. My grandma is very Catholic, like, I think just by calling her very Catholic, you get the point. Sam, quit it. Quit digging there. I'm gonna have to put a log down there. So I'm with my grandma and my uncle, who's a priest, a newly anointed priest, Catholic priest, and we had just hung out all day. We had a good day. We pull into my driveway, and at the door is a friend of mine. I've told this story to my friend, he was there. And my friend has told me his side of the story, which I'll tell you his side of the story real quick. And before I get out of the car to go into my house, he pulls me aside. Fuck off. He pulls me aside, goes, Curtis, is that your friend? I go, yes, Grandma. It's a friend of mine. I told her his name. Oh, does he play Magic? And I was like, I know where this is going. Yes, he plays Magic. Would you be careful around those kind of people, okay? I just want you to be safe, and I don't know, it just started, like, it just got to me. Like, Magic is not role-playing. Role-playing is pretending you're something else. Which role-playing in itself, I don't see any fucking problem with. You know, when kids play pretend, when kids are like, you know, when I was a kid, I used to fucking pretend I was a Jedi. Is that role-playing? Is that satanic? No. You know, kids pretend to be firemen. Is that satanic? No. Fuck off. Kill yourself. So, you know, kids pretend. I don't know. But this game isn't even, you're just playing, you're basically just playing chess with cards. Like it's a numbers game. The picture there just happens to be a picture of a dragon on it. I don't fucking know. Figure it out. So she's in the car lecturing me. Meanwhile, my uncle gets out of the car and confronts my friend at the door. And his side of his story is, so he's like, so Kurt, I was standing at your door, and I was knocking, I was waiting, no one was home, and I turn around and there's a priest, and he says, "What's up?" And he goes, "You waiting for Kurt?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah." And he's in the car. He just got here. So I thought that was funny. Like he was waiting to see me, a pretty staunch atheist, and then for his his staunch atheist friend to come out, and he turns around and a Catholic priest is right behind him. So that was funny. So I get out of the car, and I'm trying not to be mad. I just got berated for having a hobby and having friends. Like I told you earlier, this game has taught me to be more social. I don't know. Like I probably wouldn't have friends if a lot of my friends play this game. Anyway, my grandma and uncle drive off, and so it's just me and my friend. And we go inside, and he's like, "You okay, bud?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, well, fucking whatever." And she wanted to talk about magic and how it's fucking dumb, and how I'm going to hell and whatever the fuck else. Whatever kind of abusive shit she's trying to shove at me. So he goes like, "Oh well, I brought my stuff. Do you want to play a game?" And then like we sit at the table, and I'm just like, I'm still fuming, and I say like, "All right, have fun, good luck, hail Satan, and let the seance begin." And then I felt better after hanging out with him. Anyway, girlfriend number 6. She didn't like magic. She didn't like Magic the Gathering. As one of her favorite words was pagan. It's pagan. Everything is pagan. Everything's fucking pagan. Sam's gone. Sam's pagan. These mosquitoes, they're pagan. Fuck off. All of you, just die. Go away. Spout your bullshit somewhere else. So she's hiding me from her parents, calling everything I am and own and enjoy pagan and evil and all kinds of horse shit. But yet she keeps asking, like, "Kurt, so let me into your life. Like, let me in. Like, I want to know more about the real Kurt." Fuck off, bug. I want to know you. And I'm like, no, you don't. You won't even let me know you. You don't. She's not letting me into her life. And she's rejecting mine while actively wearing the veneer of, I actually want to know you, but I don't want to know you. Well, which the fuck is it? One day she lost interest in me. Excuse me. I met her parents on accident. She took me to some like churchy place. I don't fucking know. Just fine. I don't know. And she said, there might be the chance we run into my parents. If we do, just say that you're my friend. Say that we're just friends, and don't say anything about like pagan. Don't say any like pagan shit, Kurt. She didn't say shit, but like she's like, and don't. She's basically telling me, don't be my boyfriend. If we meet my parents, don't be my boyfriend, and don't be Kurt. Just don't. So we, of course, run into her parents. Her parents were really cool. I don't think, and And I straight up say like I just I forgot everything she said and said like um I forget, or wait, no, yeah, I meet her parents, and I just say like hi, like hello sir, hello ma'am, I'm Kurt. I don't say anything about boyfriend or anything, but somehow word gets out after like her parents investigated my Facebook and saw that like I was like sending her little hearts and tagging her and stuff, and kind of pieced together that we're a couple. Shortly after, she blocked me on Facebook, and that was the end of that. All right, good talk. Number 7, girlfriend number 7, was actually a girl that I met when I worked at a hospital in 2012, and I didn't date this girl because she was a little bit underage, but we remained friends, platonic friends. We were, you know, we were we talked sometimes, and I was 20, I was 23, no, 24 at the time, and she was 19, 24, and she was 20, excuse me. So in 2014, I was 24 and she was 20. So she was, you know, she was 17 when I met her. I ain't doing that. We were still friends. I got in touch with this girl again, and she used to live in Alaska, in Anchorage, and she now lived in Montana. I went and saw her in Montana after a few months of texting, and it was like, you know, oh, we're so in love. I don't know. I just fall into the same traps all over again. I don't anymore, I like to think, but because like I haven't dated in a long time. We'll get to that part though. We'll get to the like the lessons I've learned and things I've taught. I'll tell myself not to do. But we're just texting like, oh, we're so in love and we're gonna see each other, and I went to see her in Montana. We had a good time. She was really sweet. We had a lot of fun, and I saw her for 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and some change. 3 weeks, and she was planning on coming down or up to Alaska. A few weeks after, so I got back from Montana. She was gonna come down and see me and stay with some extended family down here, or up here. Excuse me, up here. I'm in Alaska. I'm up. So, but instead, I get back to Alaska, and the next day she says, she immediately says she wants to see other people. Yep. So, months of my life gone. Money for plane ride, things I'd bought her, things I'd, just when you're on vacation, you spend money. Gone. Just for fuck knows why. Oh. Yeah. Well, I gotta piss. So I'm probably gonna end this here in a minute. Been out here for an hour and a half. And is there anything else? Closing thoughts. Nope. I'm a dumbass, though. I've gotten progressively worse with my relationships, and the next video I put out is going to be the final dating video. And